Have you noticed a difference in your pupil or children's behaviour since the pandemic? If so, you're not alone. The A Lust for Life Schools programme is a primary school wellbeing programme which teaches kids from 3rd to 6th class the tools to manage their own minds at a very young age. Something I'm sure we all could have done with when we were in school. It's a free programme for schools to use, and it's A Lust for Life's mission to reach every child in Ireland with it. The programme is designed to equip children with the tools and skills to navigate the ups and downs of life by building emotional resilience, emotional literacy and emotional awareness. All you need is a screen, audio speakers and an internet connection. For more information on the A Lust for Life Schools programme, you can visit the A Lust for Life website or email the team directly at alflschools@alustforlife.com. If you would like to provide future generations in Ireland with the resources to be effective guardians of their own minds, then the A Lust for Life Schools programme is for you.
Jeev Golair, and welcome to the Loaf of Bread GAA podcast, slicing into the GAA of the past, present and future. Join me, Jason Keelan, as we cut into the largest loaf of bread known to mankind. Hello, Diagwich, bonjour, ni hao, konnichiwa, guten tag and privyet to you all wherever you're listening in. What started as a message to 10 clubs has now expanded to more than 50 clubs globally from all continents. The journey through Loaf 2 GAA Global continues this week as we move on to our next destination, the GAA world. So come with me on the GAA journey of a lifetime and meet clubs from Canada to Argentina, South Africa to Gibraltar, Bermuda to the North Pole, New Zealand to Kuwait, Knoxville to Qatar, and literally everywhere in between. So grab the passports, grab the bags, it's time to go. On Slice 47, I chat to 4 of the finest from the Middle East Kerry GAA club. I meet Jamie from Kerry itself, Enoch from Dallas in the US, Aoibheann from Offaly, and Shane from Donegal, to find out all the crack in the UAE once again. We chat rivalries of Fujairah, RAC, Dubai Celts, Jumeirah and others, the newly formed Laochra GAA team in Dubai, no Corkmen joining the team for some reason, Virgin Media using the Kerry Middle East logo accidentally in the All-Ireland semi-final, the Kerry Society in Dubai, the cool crest, Enoch transferring his American football skills to the GAA, a Mullingar woman as secretary, using the Sunday game theme song, and Shane introducing Father Ted to a man from which very unexpected country. Find out that and much more with the wonderful gang in Middle East Kerry GAA. But first, as always, let's take a trip back to the Middle East, and this time let's have a look at the Irish links to the beautiful region. Bon Sultas. What do Johnny Sexton and Arifa Sessio have in common? What about a pint of the black stuff and an Arabian coffee? Or the sound of the Middle East music and Irish music? Well, apparently a lot. In the past decades, studies have unearthed the real possibility that the Irish may be descendants of the Middle East. Farmers from the region known at the time as Mesopotamia may be the key to unlocking the ancient aspects of Irish history. Mesopotamia, for those who may not be sure, was a region along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, which would consume modern-day Turkey, Iran, Iraq, Syria and Kuwait, and spill over slightly into the Middle East areas of the UAE today. The region was also known as the Fertile Crescent back in the day, which also included the likes of Egypt, Jordan and Palestine. Mesopotamia literally is the Arabic word for between two rivers, so the naming wasn't an issue. This also made the historical research slightly easier since they knew the area was literally just that. So where did the Irish link come in? Well, history now tells us that the lads out in Mesopotamia were mainly farmers during the time of the Stone Age. They're said to have travelled west across lands including the Potnik Steppe, an area today that is Ukraine and some of the surrounding lands. The lads, of course, ended up on the shores of our little island home here. They brought their farming skills and magic with them, and over time as they became fairly close with the locals, the genetic changes began to take shape. Most notably, for us Irish, the darker eye colours and hair colours. Not the red though, that famous Irish red is from the Vikings. So where's the rest of the proof? Well, it mainly lies in the language. Many of us have been to Dubai, Abu Dhabi and other places around the globe to which Arabic is the primary language. It's probably fair to say that in general we wouldn't hear too much similarity between Dia Gwich and Assalamu alaikum. But there are links. Sugar oscoilge is shukra, in Arabic, sukar. There are many other words like it. But of course Gaeilge also has its main roots in the Celtic and Scandinavian ways, such as Ganzi in Ireland and Genser in Norway. Indeed, the famous Ogham stones of Ireland are also linked somewhat to the Arabic inscriptions and the Egyptian hieroglyphs. Lambay Island off the coast of Dublin was noted and marked by the famous Ptolemy cartographer in history. On Lambay, it was a place where upright burial was common, something believed to have only been done in the Middle East region of the time. And then the sporting link. Being a Sligo Rovers fan myself, I'd be well accustomed, as many League of Ireland fans would be, to Drogheda United. But have you ever looked at the crest of the boys from the wee county? Or the likes of Portsmouth in England, a club I've had the privilege of being a VIP at on match day thanks to my friends in the club, who now ironically live in the Middle East country of Oman. On both crests there is the famous star and crescent, synonymous with the Arabic world. This is because during the Irish famine and during those calls for help, one call reached the Middle East and the Sultan of Turkey. He sent ships of grain to the port in Drogheda, and today Drogheda holds the symbol on its own town crest. And the links continue to music and much further beyond. Even the fascination in the Middle East with the Guinness World Records. Dubai itself holds the most records in the entire book. And today there are more than 16,000 Irish in the Middle East, hence why so many of the clubs are primarily Irish dominated in the GAA world. So let's find out more about Ireland in the Middle East as we meet the gang from the Middle East Kerry GAA club in the stunningly beautiful, and I'm not jealous at all that they live there, Dubai. Jamie, do you want to tell us a little bit about the club while we get going?
Yeah, thanks, Jason. I suppose the club was set up back in 2018. There was a good number of us previously, mostly Kerry people, well, all Kerry people, should I say, that were involved with the Kerry Middle East Society. And under the society, we would have played a good number of challenge games and social tournaments. And that society was set up back in 2011. So we were all involved in that, a good few of us. And we played under the Dubai Celts Club as well for 2 years. Yeah. To be fair, they were very good to us. They allowed us play under their banner for a couple of years. And then I suppose we had a decision to make. Look, do we want to keep playing a bit socially, or do we want to try and kick on and try and enter the league formally? So we kind of had to make a decision then whether to set up the club, as on its own right and do our own thing really. So we made that kind of decision in 2018. So we set up the club formally. We applied to the Middle East County Board, and then we were very focused in on setting up the club structures, and we done that. So initially in the first year, we had 3 men's teams, two junior teams, and 1 social team. So we're quite successful in recruiting initially just men's players. Guys like Shane on the call there, we would have played a lot of soccer, I suppose, like 5-a-side over here. It's a bit like back home, during the week. Yep. A lot of us were involved in that. Yeah. So we'd been friendly with Shane. Enoch, I think, is going to join in a few minutes. And I suppose we reached out to as many kind of people who we knew. We were friendly with, and we got a kind of decent response. We didn't really attract many people, I suppose, from social media or ads and all that kind of stuff. It was more word of mouth. And we got good numbers. I think we benefited from kind of being a small club, really, especially at the beginning. I suppose the 2 larger clubs, Celts and Jumeirah Gaels, they would kind of be much larger than us. They would have initially had, I suppose, a good number of men's teams, ladies' teams. They'd be involved in hurling, camogie, even getting into handball recently, even the underage as well. So I suppose when we try to set up very light touch the first year just to get up and running. And then we've kind of done that for the first 2 seasons. The first year our men's team got promoted, bit of a boardroom promotion. We didn't come first in Junior B League, but we got promoted anyway up to Junior A. Then in our second season, we won the Junior A, and now we're up to intermediate already. Nice. There was no, obviously, football last year with COVID. So at the moment, our men's team are in intermediate. Our second men's team are in the junior ranks. And then we have a social team then as well with enter tournaments on a tournament by tournament basis.
Very good. Was it
And
all Kerry people at the start? Is that what you said? Originally?
yeah, there was a group of about eight of us that kind of set it up. Obviously, it did come to that stage where we were playing a bit of football with the society, like I mentioned, and we wanted to go a bit more formally. We kind of modeled ourselves on, the old kind of GA clubs, in America, for instance, founded around 100 years ago. We thought there was a bit of merit in that, like, the Kerry, New York. I played a bit of junior one summer in New York. With Kerry over in New York back in 2006, the year the World Cup was on. And I enjoyed it over there. And like people from all over Ireland and even Irish Americans were playing for Kerry at the time. I know a few people who played for Kerry Kingdom Gales in London. There's obviously the Kerry team in Boston, friends who have played for that over the years too. So we thought, look, why not? Why not try to see how it works over here? We had the impression that maybe non-Kerry people would feel, why would we play for Kerry or whatever? But it actually worked in our favour a lot of times. People enjoyed playing for Kerry, I suppose, with the history Kerry have and fun. A lot of people would have went on holidays to Kerry when they're younger, or they've been on stags or hen parties or holidays there over the years. So a lot of people have a soft spot for Kerry, or like the banter, about playing for Kerry and no matter where they're from. So we've recruited people from all over Ireland actually, and guys like Enoch as well from abroad. They've come in and play with us, and we're trying to make it a kind of like a second county for everyone that comes and plays with us. And I think we're good at recruiting all over except Cork. We find it hard to recruit Cork people.
Shockingly.
No one from Cork ever wants to play with us. Like, we've been turned down by 3 or 4 outright. One of my best good mates from college in Cork, I went to UCC myself, and I've tried to sign him numerous times. He said, I just can't. Like, he was pictured on Facebook or Instagram wearing a Kerry jersey. He said he wouldn't be able to do it. So we understand.
You can understand.
Can't get Cork people. We have Dubs, we have people from Tyrone, all our kind of traditional rivals. Down Kerry, we rivals with them over the years. Mayo, we have loads of Mayo people.
And
Donegal are our strong points.
Donegal, big Donegal contingent.
big Donegal contingent. Yeah, Westmead in the ladies, and so we've gone from kind of strength to strength over the years. And then, as Aoibheann will probably tell you in a few moments, we set up the ladies club there last year. Just kind of got up and running with COVID, a bit of training. Couldn't kind of kick it off really formally, with matches. But this season, now the ladies, they have three ladies teams in junior, so they're looking quite strong and very good numbers. So the ladies just got set up there.
Yeah. What's your own club back home in Kerry, Jamie?
Dr. Crope's. So quite a big club, like they won the All Ireland back in 2017. And then back in '92 they won the All Ireland club as well. So quite a big club. Yeah,
fairly well known. Yeah, sounds good. And Shane, you're a man who doesn't look like he's had the crack in Baku, but you look relatively refreshed.
I am, a little bit. I had an early night last night.
I could imagine.
It was a curfew at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was throughout the city, like.
Yeah. And whereabouts do you hail from originally?
I'm originally Donegal town.
Oh, very good. Yeah, and what brought you out to the Middle East then?
Well, originally I'd been in Australia since 2008, so I was out there for 6 years, and then, just as you know, it's just too far away. So I'd come home for a summer in 2014, and then I got a friend of mine just got in contact with a job out here, like, and set me up with an interview, and a week later I was on the flight out here. So so been out here since 2014, like, so. Yeah. But it's nicer. It's definitely better being here than all the way in Australia, like,
Yeah.
Australia's nice, like, but it's just too far away. Too far away.
You're only a single flight away from Ireland, I suppose.
That's it. Get the early one in the morning, and you're the worst part of the journey is probably trying to get from Dublin up to Donegal.
You get the McGinley bus now?
No, CAE. I rent a car now. I can push the budget now to renting cars these days.
Very good. Sounds good, Jet. And Aoibheann, what brought you out to the Middle East?
I'm a teacher, so I'm out here. Shock, another teacher. I came out in 2019, and I started playing with Kerry last year. Now, when I say playing, I'm a big social team member, but
Grant.
we started last year. We have great crack. It's a good spot now.
So
Whereabouts are you from
enjoying
originally?
it so far. I'm from Clara in County Offaly.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Do you know any of the Noctons down there?
I do know Noctons down there. They're related to you.
No, I went to college with Tom. I know
Oh, I
Tom
know
very well.
Tom's teacher as well. Yeah,
He is, yeah.
yeah.
So I know Tom very well. Yeah, I was only talking to him yesterday.
Well,
Very
yeah, I
good.
know Tom now. He's from the same town as me. So
Yeah, Tom
interesting,
had,
small world.
yeah. So you didn't bring Shane Lowry out with you when you were going, no?
No, I left Shane at home.
Oh, fair enough. That's all right. Yeah,
He's flying the flag there for Clara, so
he is at the
I'll leave
moment
him where
anyway.
he
Yeah,
is.
oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
of him,
Two of our team members. Well, one of them hasn't gone home since Tim, our old secretary. He played golf with Shane Lowry a few years ago and Shane O'Brien. So they got a picture of Shane Lowry with the Kerry Middle East jersey.
Oh, nice.
That could be your thumbnail for this.
Yeah,
podcast.
there you go.
We'll
I'll
send you a
have
picture.
to find that one. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
We'll have to get him in the jersey, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and
I think we
I'll
have
come
it.
back.
It's on the Instagram page, isn't it? I think it's on the Instagram.
Oh, it's on
I
it.
think
I'll
so.
find it. Yeah. Once Instagram unblocked me for whatever crime I committed against Instagram there a few days ago. I don't know what that was. So, and Enoch, whereabouts in the US are you from?
I'm from North Texas, so around Dallas, Fort Worth area.
Very good. Yeah. Only a couple of episodes ago was the Dallas GAA club actually. I'm trying to remember who was on it. I can't remember the names of the guys who were on it. Yeah, very interesting club. And what brought you to the Middle East then?
I used to be an English teacher. I was kind of traveling the world for 6 or 7 years, teaching different places, and then ended up in Dubai, and just got stuck here. Really,
You could be stuck in worse places, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I only planned on being here for a year, and it's been 8. So
I've heard that story a lot. Yeah, I went out for one drink and I ended up staying for 11 years. I've heard that story a few times from people. Right? That's pretty cool. Yes, and I suppose I should ask you then, what attracted you to the GAA, or was it a forced attraction where you were dragged in?
Jamie just said, "Come try it."
Yep.
Basically, I've played five-a-side football with Jamie and Shane for a good number of years, at least 5, I'd say now.
Easy, yeah.
So when they started up the club, I think they were just looking for numbers, maybe, Jamie. Just
we were desperate. We were desperate.
They were desperate, yeah. Just get a body down there. So yeah, so I just came in just to check it out. I didn't think anything. I had no idea actually when they asked me to come try it out. I went on YouTube and just typed in like, what is GAA?
Good
I had
way to
no
start.
clue. Knew nothing about the sport. Yeah.
And what about picking up the rules? Did you find it tricky?
Yeah, I watched some of the YouTube videos explaining the game and the rules, and yeah, it's kind of hard to get my head wrapped around the whole 4 steps and then solo or bounce it, you know. So yeah, I still get nervous whenever it's time to do a solo in play,
That's all right. At least you're brave enough to give it a go is the main thing. You're not like the poor guys in Germany who I had Darmstadt GAA on their the only all German hurling team, and they took the German efficiency and loving of rules to the ultimate step when they said after 4 steps they used to just freeze on the spot. So you haven't taken it that far, thankfully, because in GAA, of course, you can get away with much more than 4. So, and have you found what kind of position have you been thrown into?
I'm playing the man marker, fullback.
Wow.
I guess I don't know. Like I think they kind of just threw me in at that position, maybe because you don't have to be involved that much on every ball. So I'm not going to be losing the ball that much. So
Kerry people are very proud of their fullbacks over the years, though. So it's quite a privileged thing to get.
But I think they sort of just kind of said, like, look, stand here for a bit, see how the game unfolds, and then I guess I kind of took to it like a duck to water. I guess it just was a natural fit. I think because of my American football experience.
Okay.
I played the
Passion
cornerback
fellas.
position Yeah, so I was sort of doing that same position in American football as well on the defensive and offensive side, that receiver / cornerback position. So it sort of was a natural fit, I guess. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, we'll have to ask the lads how your progress has been in a little while as well. So, and Aoibheann, on the ladies' side, then what kind of numbers have you guys got these days?
When we started out last year, the numbers, they were strong enough, and then they kind of weaned off, I suppose, near the middle of the year because there was no tournaments and all the rest was going on with COVID. But the minute numbers are brilliant. We have about 60 women down training on Wednesday night, 70 maybe. Yeah,
they're
we've great
doing
numbers.
much better than the men.
We are. No, we're doing really well. We have a Galway man training us, so he's doing really well with the girls. Everyone's very happy. We train in Alberta and the DA, so it's close to everyone. I suppose every week we go down, there's new faces. Like last year when we started going down, I knew nearly all the girls. I go down every week now and there's someone new. I don't know who's down there.
Okay.
But it's a great way to meet people. And there's every age, I suppose, and every ability level. There's girls there that are just there for the crack, like myself, and there's people who are there and they're there for a serious business. So it's a great way to meet people and a great mix of people as well from everywhere. We've all nationalities as well. We've loads of English girls down there and lots of people. So it's great.
Yes. Any Republic of Westmeath people there now?
We do. We have a few people from Westmeath there. One of the women on the committee is actually Westmeath. Mary, isn't she, Jamie?
Is, yeah, Mary Lynham, yeah.
Yeah, Mary's
Mary Lynham?
as well.
Yeah. From the Downs?
I don't know where she's from now. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Is she young enough?
She is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
21.
Yeah, it's, oh God, I know she is. She lives about, well, her family live about 30 seconds out the road here from me. I know her sister, or very older sister, very, very well, Sinead, if it's the same girl. So that's gas. I didn't even know she was out there. Who else is the Westmeath bodies you have? Do you know the others?
Who else do we have from Westmeath? I'm trying to think. I don't think I can think of anyone else off the top of my head now. There's that many girls.
I know a couple of them were with
Sharjah.
Sharjah. I know Neve Spellman and Ciara Blundell were both with Sharjah for a while. You might have come up against the two of them. They're both, well, Neve is up for an All-Star now at the moment this year. So
okay, we must recruit her.
Oh, she's back here now. She's teaching with my sister-in-law here out the road. So I don't think you'll get her back too quick, to be honest. So 60 and 70 is that's massive numbers for a club.
It's great, yeah.
What's teams then? What have you got,
really
2 or 3 teams or?
We have 3 teams, and we're junior this year. So we have an A, B, and C team, and we've great numbers. Really, it has really grown. I'd say even since August. And myself and Shane were flat out on the Instagram promoting, and it really, even on the airplane on the way back, we were recruiting women. So it worked well. We have a lot of people down, so hopefully it'll keep growing. I have to say, like, it's very everyone. It's very inclusive. Everyone knows each other. Everyone's nice. It's a bit of crack when you go down in the evenings. No pressure if you don't want the pressure. So, and everyone is, the girls who are A team material are helping the rest of us. So it's good. Nice. Yeah, nice atmosphere when you go down.
Yeah, I suppose since you mentioned, I may as well ask you, Aoibheann, while you're there, you mentioned about being the social player. What's the social side like with the ladies then?
It's a great.
I don't need specifics or anything. It's fine, just in general.
No, we have we've good social side. I have to say, I think the lads have started to venture out a little bit more since the women started to head out. I think we kind of lit the whole thing on fire. So no, we have a great girl organising all the social nights, and there's always somebody up for a drink. I think I was listening to one of your podcasts earlier, and they were saying that no matter when you text them, whatever evening, someone is always around. Someone's always out somewhere having a drink. So it's actually great that way that, it's not just work friends. You have send a text and there's about 15 girls ready to go if you want to go somewhere.
Yeah, so it's mad. It's mad that the ladies started to go and suddenly the lads started to follow. That's mental. Like, I don't know why that happened.
Shocking,
that's bizarre, isn't it? Yeah. Explain that one. What's the sponsorship side of things like, Jamie, for you?
Sponsorship, we have the new Irish pub now. You would have probably heard of them, McCaffrey's. You might have seen them on Instagram. They're from Donegal. So obviously Shane would have known them from back home. So they're sponsoring us as their main pub this year. I suppose our headline sponsor would be Kibson's. They were food wholesalers. Then
Are they the
started
lad with the
doing
cherries or something as their logo? That was a
yeah,
one, I remember.
the scent of our jersey. So they would have been like in the food business, fruit and veg really. They started off, but over the last couple of years, they set up an online food business even before COVID. But they got really, really big here. So they're a really well-known homegrown brand over in the Middle East. And one of our committee members, Fergus Murphy, is one of the founding members as well. He's involved in the food business over here because there's a lot of people, I suppose, the food industry, especially most Irish people here, like Board B are heavily involved in the Middle East and bringing, encouraging Irish companies to come over here and do business with the local supermarkets and whatnot and the local distribution companies. So there's actually a lot of Irish people involved in that type of business. So Gus had a good relationship with Kibson's, and Kibson's were our first sponsor from day one. And they're our headline sponsor on our jerseys, our main sponsor. And then we have associate sponsors like we mentioned already, McCaffrey's the new one. You might have seen them already. We have Era Gulf Construction. That's Pat Downey and our Kerry man, who was involved with the Kerry Society for years, and a big supporter of the club. And then I think we've added one or two more this year. Am I forgetting someone, Shane?
No, I think you've got everybody.
They're the main three, are they?
Yeah, McCaffrey.
There's a few others in discussion.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I suppose on the pitch then, Shane, who's the main kind of rivals around you? The Middle East has become quite a massive area. So it's probably nearly the biggest or one of the biggest outside of Ireland for GAA rivalries. So who's the team that you're, I suppose, most familiar against?
Well, I suppose probably the Celts, I would say, mostly. But, the Celts, the Gaels, Jumeirah Gaels.
But Fujairah last year as well was
an experience.
Fujairah, we had a couple of battles with them in our first year. I'm not sure they're still going out this season. I think because a lot of maybe people left, like Mary, for instance, our secretary there, Mary London, who we mentioned earlier. A lot of the girls would have moved down from Fujairah. I'm not sure they're entering a team this year, but in our first year in competition, Fujairah were a big competitor for us. We had a lot of big matches against them. But as Shane said,
there's another new team starting this year as well.
Laochra Gaels. Yeah.
We'll have to see what these guys are like too, because I'm sure they'll probably be starting in junior tournaments now as well.
Okay.
Who is that?
Laochra Gaels.
Yeah. You pronounce them as Laochra, isn't it? Because you're the beautiful Donegal Irish coming out. Yeah. In the Midlands, we just say Laochra. That's all. It's all we have there. Yeah. We just have the sort of the bogger standard Irish. That's what we call it. So it's all being low anyway.
Enoch just threw fuel on the flames. They were actually playing them this weekend, and Enoch just said, "Who are they?" So that's going to be pinned up in their dressing room. Dressing room wall.
By the time this goes out, they'll be fine. It'll all be over with.
And
they haven't put out the fixtures.
Enoch is, I don't know. Enoch's in the mix to play with our first team at the weekend. So our first team, men's team, this is because ladies are on for a couple of more weeks, but our first team this weekend, intermediates, are playing in Sharjah in the Middle East League, the first round of it. And then our B and social team are playing against Laochra and Dubai Celts just in a mini tournament, Celts. So we're playing them on Friday morning. So our Bs and socials are going to be against those, and our intermediates are going to be in the league match. So Enoch.
What about outside? Yeah, that should be good. I hope you do well, Enoch.
We'll go to war.
Yeah, exactly.
We might have to go on the A team after dissing the new club.
Yeah, he will. I feel like I should just send that clip just to them straight away after this, just to get the game going. So, and then outside of the sort of locality, call it, what about the likes of Oman and Bahrain? All them? Have you had much experience against any of them?
Not really. I suppose I said the first year we kind of definitely Fujairah. The second year then we were in Junior A. Enoch, you would have played a few matches. Who were your main? I was more of a B and social man by trade, But
Well,
who was your main competitor when you played in junior
In the
A?
Bahrain tournament,
Yeah.
it was RAC Ras Al Khaimah.
Oh, yeah.
Was the big
yeah.
team that year. It seemed like the Qatar and Bahrain teams were not really fielding anybody in the junior A or intermediate. I think maybe they just had social teams and maybe a senior team, but we didn't really play them competitively, I think, in the Bahrain tournament.
Okay, that's
except for the social. The year we just did a social. The first year we did the social team.
okay.
So a lot of those clubs, like Enoch mentioned there, like Fujairah, Ras Al Khaimah, and ourselves, we were all founded around the same time. So they're from the Northern Emirates. Like Ras Al Khaimah is just out north of obviously Dubai and Sharjah, same as Fujairah. So those clubs and ourselves were all kind of founded around the same time. So we all kind of started together. And that's how there was been a rivalry built up there. Whereas you're saying the Celts, they're one of the oldest clubs in the region, Bahrain, Qatar. We would never have been playing their kind of first team, second team like Celts. I think they might have 5 teams. So when we're playing junior B, we could be playing their 5th team or their 4th team. And obviously we were kind of moving up with a lot of the clubs that start off. Let's say Laochra now, for instance, you can be full sure that they're going to be competing. They'll probably start in junior B this year. They'll probably be favourites to win that. They'll probably be the year after probably favourites to win junior A because they have a lot of ex-players maybe who would have played for Sharjah before at a higher level. So a lot of the clubs who start off in the lower leagues, they can be quite strong, to be honest. And then they're up against maybe the 4th or 5th team of one of the larger clubs. So that's how kind of the rivalries are a bit maybe different than if you're talking to Jumeirah, Celts or Abu Dhabi, Nafina. They're a lot more. They're on the road a bit longer than us, and they have a lot more teams as well. So we're trying to get there. But
we know what it's like at Westmeath, been in the wrong division where we should be up in a hurry. And we know what it's like around the Midlands here, where there's a few. Aoibheann now is nothing to talk about because Offaly shouldn't be anywhere near the top division. But Westmeath are used to being, in the wrong division for so long. So, Enoch, have you been introduced to the likes of the Sunday game and all that?
You mean like watching the games? I've only really watched sort of the All Ireland finals whenever it came around. I only know the Sunday game theme song because I used it in our in our little videos that we make that subsequently get pulled off of YouTube or muted on YouTube because of the copyright.
Okay.
I'm not really one for watching sports. I'd rather just play. I can't sit and watch a game unless it's a big game and I go out with some friends and we watch it together. But I'm not gonna sit at home and watch a game by myself.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, sounds all right. That's an honest answer, definitely. Shane, the toughest team you've come up against in your time?
Out here?
Yeah. You could say Azerbaijan last night.
I would say probably the Gaels, maybe with a few Sharjah Gaels. Had a few battles with them, all right. Probably.
I'll have to tell Naomi and Niall and the gang out there so about that. They'll be delighted to hear that they're the hardest team. They'll be loving that one. What about Aoibheann for you with the girls? Who's been the toughest opponents?
Well, we obviously only got up and running last year, and there was no games. So I'd say that probably the worst game that we've had is probably the mixed game we had at the end of the last season, and swimming and the men mixed together. That was a tough game. I actually think I came in contact with Enoch when I got a shoulder, so that was probably the worst one we've had so far. But we're hoping now this year we'll be up and running properly and we'll be having lots of games. So hopefully I'll be able to answer that question now the next time we meet, Jason.
Oh no,
yeah, go on.
I do remember that. we were going for a loose ball, and I remember distinctly putting on the brakes and saying, "This is a female. I cannot hit her."
I don't remember you putting on the brakes, Enoch, but you're looking.
Yeah, Enoch, she's from Offaly. She is well able to hit you back. Don't worry. There's no fear in Clara people. They're well able to strike you back. You would have been grand. You would have been fine. Enoch, who's the toughest team you've come up against then? Apart from Aoibheann.
I think probably it was probably the final in the Bahrain tournament last season was that was played playing Ras Al Khaimah RAC. They had a very strong full forward, and he was pretty threatening, when he got the ball. So that was a tough game, and in the final it was a lot of pressure.
Okay.
So yeah, that was probably the biggest one.
Has Jamie or Shane or Aoibheann or anyone told you the true, way to act like a fullback, like, when the ref's not looking and all that kind of thing? I presume you've been told all the tricks, have you?
The dirtiness. Yeah. And we've got another guy, Fergal Murphy, he's one of the founding members, I would say, and he's sort of taught me a lot of the game. Okay. And he's always telling me to pull in the jersey, get a little punch, a little kidney punch, whatnot. Yeah. But I just it's hard for me because I guess because of the background that I have of playing soccer, football, and in American football where you can't touch them. If there's contact, it's a penalty. So it's hard for me to make that change. Still, I have to convince myself that I've got to play the game the way that it's going to be played rather than by the rules. But still, I kind of in my head, I feel like I want to beat this guy clean so that he has no excuses. It's one thing to say, "Oh, you were dirty. I didn't get the ball because you fouled me or whatever." I'm be like, "No, well, I didn't touch you. I still got the ball." So, yeah. And
NFL referees are very eagle-eyed, and there's so many of them. Whereas in GAA, there's just one referee, and he's usually 60 or 70 yards behind the play, so you usually get away with a lot more. So, no, I like your attitude. Yeah, the clean way of doing it. I suppose with Kerry in your name, you have Seamus Moynihan and those to follow on from, who were very skillful fullbacks, I suppose. They weren't quite the dirtiest ones. Would that be fair to say, Jamie? Pretty skillful.
Yeah, I think Seamus, he was. You said earlier the great Kerry fullbacks, but over the last 20 years, it's been a troublesome enough spot for Kerry too. Over the years, we had Seamus was a halfback we had to put in fullback, if you remember. Yeah. He did well against Colin Corkmen that time. So we always said to Enoch straight away that he's to model himself on Aoibheann O'Mahony, big strong man, not afraid to throw the boot in, and so Aoibheann O'Mahony is Enoch's. Template. Good, yeah. And who's and he's big. He's big muscles as well.
That's good. And who's your toughest team, Jamie? You've come up against then.
I would say I'd say Jumeirah, to be honest. Over the years, I would have played when I first kind of started playing over here. Jumeirah kind of were getting up and running, and I always feel like we played them in a challenge game, and it was the ladies. We had their men's and ladies down to our place. Was it 2 weeks ago now? And it was the ladies' first run out. So Aoibheann and her team and the three ladies teams had a first run out, and we did their junior. We 3 men's teams down there too. So we had a great morning. We had a couple of hours. We booked 2 pitches, and we had Jumeirah down for the morning. And I always feel Jumeirah are very organised. They're very organised on the line. They're very good at setting up. Defensively, especially, and then when they attack, they kind of attack with pace and always make it count. To be honest, so they're very, very well organised. So I think from us, all jokes aside, we do. Even when we set up the club, we always say we want to try and play like the Kerry way when we have training to make it, enjoyable. So you're not at work on a Tuesday and saying, "Oh my God, let's go train tonight. They're going to run me around the pitch." We always make sure that it's half of it is just working on our skills. The second half we're working on matches. But I think for us as a club, we went down, played Jumeirah 2 weeks ago, like I mentioned, and our men's, I think we played 8 matches. We lost the majority of them, and a lot of them we lost them by a point or so. And I think that was the difference. They were tight, but the difference was, I think, Jumeirah were very well at, very, very well at kind of seeing it out. And I suppose Kerry traditionally, we're always trying to play it in a certain way, but I think we have to learn a bit more about the kind of tactics and improve on that side, because I think that's an area we need to improve on, especially on the men's side. So I'd say Jumeirah. I think they're very well organised, and when they go forward with purpose. So I'd say Jumeirah for me.
Okay. Who was it? Random kind of one, but I was kind of fascinated by your crest with because for all the world, anyone who looks at it quick will just think, oh, it's the Kerry logo. It's only when I actually stopped for a second, I went, hang on, that's not actually the Kerry logo. Who came up with the cracking graphic design on the crest?
Yeah, well, I tell you, it's we obviously the new crest came out, right, a few years ago, and a lot of people don't really like it. But we wanted to make sure we're kind of on brand with Kerry.
Yeah.
So we wanted to adapt this. My brother-in-law then is a graphic designer over here. He does a bit of graphic design, so I asked him to try and tweak the Kerry crest. We went to O'Neill's then with the crest, and they said, "Are you sure? You're right in doing that? Did you get Kerry's approval or whatever?"
Yeah.
So we asked Tim Murphy, the chairman of the Kerry County Board. He's been pressed there the last few weeks on the management selection.
He has, yeah.
And he rang us back and said, "Drive on," and he was very nice to us. And it started a good relationship then with him. He brought us down to, when we first started the club, he brought us down to the Currans, the new Centre of Excellence in Kerry, and gave us a good push. And we've tried to keep in contact with them a bit over the years, and they've kind of been good to us. So they allowed us alter the crest that time. So we have the camel, and we have the Burj Al Arab on the crest, just to kind of tweak it a small bit. So,
yeah, it's very cool, yeah, because I get asked, I have the Kuwait harps top, and I've been like stopped on the streets randomly by people going, which club in Ireland has camels on it? And they don't get the fact that there's, first of all, it's not just in Ireland, there's the GAA, but anything like that catches people's eye. Yeah, the crest caught me out completely. And it was one of the lads said it to me as well when he saw it. He was like, this is a savage looking crest, like it just looks like Kerry, and then he looked at it, it's not Kerry really at all. So I just had to see what the story was with it. So
funny story for you, when the Kerry Tyrone match, the semi-final was when they reorganized the match, and they put it up on Virgin Media on the news that day. They announced that it was going to be played, whatever, a new date change. They had the Kerry Middle East GAA crest on the TV instead of the Kerry GAA crest. That's another picture for you there. You can add to the.
I'm definitely going to have to.
So we were flying home.
Media, I know.
We could have done with Enoch that day against Tyrone.
Yeah, you definitely could have. Yeah, definitely could have done with him. That's class. I'll definitely have to use that story anyway. So there's a couple of other kind of last questions. Then there's a quick fire round, which I do with every club, and then there's traditional you have Middle East 50-50 questions as well. But there's a couple of last ones. I suppose I asked Aoibheann already, but Shane, what's a good night out with the lads now that you've decided to follow the ladies out?
Good night out here.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose where was our last night out? It was Garden on 8, wasn't it? And yeah. So just normally evening brunch, like everybody gets together, evening brunch. Like the last one was about 40 or 50 turned up to it, like.
I'd say more, was there?
Yes. See, we're spoiled for choice out here too. Like there's that many.
Oh, I know.
There's that many places you can go. But I'd say, especially now with McCafferty's sponsoring us, I think we're probably going to have to give them a good night out at some stage soon. Take over the place, You
bring it back from Baku. Any tips on a good night out? No.
in Baku.
It's a strange place, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I enjoyed it now that we found there's a bar there, O'Malley's. I think it was just where all the Irish ended up there for the whole weekend, like, so it was good. If you ever lost anybody, you just walk in there and you're bound to find them. Like.
Yeah, that's where they are,
yeah. Before the match too, we passed the place up in the Fountain Square, just to see two lads sitting drinking outside, so we joined them, and next thing, about an hour later, there must have been about 50 Irish jerseys up all around us, like roaring and shouting and singing. So it was brilliant.
No issues with the police, no?
No, nothing at all. No, I've heard too that they're supposed to be kind of, they're a bit dodgy over there, but no, we've no issues at all whatsoever. The locals, I found the locals really, really nice. Now they were very welcoming, and they're up trying to get pictures taken with us, and they're taking videos of us roaring and shouting. Like, so.
I found the locals lovely as well. Yeah, I remember I landed the day after Dundalk had played Carabag in the Champions League, and Dundalk had gotten in trouble for filming on the seafront down by the Formula One track and stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of people saying about the police that there were issues and stuff. We won't badmouth the police on here, though. I suppose it's probably better I don't. I would like to go back to Azerbaijan at some point again in my life. So, the quick fire questions. There's one last one, I suppose I'll ask, maybe Aoibheann will ask you first, but the moving to the intense heat and playing football, what was it like, or what is it like?
Oh God, it was a struggle. It was very
like warmer than Clara anyway.
Much warmer than Clara. Last weekend it was very hot. I would do a bit of running, but normally that would be in the morning, around 5 in the morning. So our tournament started at 8 last week, and by 9 o'clock we were all melting. It was very hot. Went on till about 11:30. I waited to watch the lads, and it was, I don't know how the lads kept going for their last few matches. It was very hot. But hopefully now it's going to cool down. We're coming into cooler weather, so the next 2 or 3 months should be nice for a bit of football. Yeah, hopefully, as you say. Yeah. And Enoch, what was it like for you coming from Texas to the weather change? Not too much. Texas can be pretty hot.
Yeah, it's not too bad of a difference. I'm probably one of the few people who just played outdoors 5-a-side football the whole summer. So, a lot of the guys at our first training session, they were like, "Oh my God, this is insane! It's so hot." And I'm like, I'm used to it by now. So it's not. Yeah, you get used to it.
Do you enjoy watching the Irish just melt in the background, slowly fading away? And
what makes me laugh is people use sunscreen or sun cream before games. I've never seen that before. In Texas, we don't put on sun cream before we play sports because I don't know. It's just not a thing. But here, people are lathering up before the game.
We put on sun cream here in Ireland if it goes over 14 degrees. So that's a scorching hot day if it goes over about 16 or 17 here at the moment. So that's good, Jess. Good to get your views on it as well. Some of the quick fire ones, I kind of go around you, I suppose. You can throw out your different answers to it. But Jamie, who's been the Kerry man, who's the stereotypical Irish tough nut Paddy O'Shea at the club?
I'd say Enoch or Fergal Murphy.
Okay.
One of them.
Neither of them has thrown a wild punch at a Cork player in recent times, no?
Fergal's thrown a few belts. Enoch, unfortunately, injured a guy against Jumeirah Girls 2 weeks ago. He threw his hand back and kind of hit him in the nose, and he went off. And it was a bit nasty. Didn't mean it. But.
I think he did.
So Enoch has form. He looked bad, Enoch. To be fair, he looked bad.
He did look bad. That was you, Enoch. I wasn't. That's right.
It was gushing blood. It was gushing blood for a while.
It was an absolute.
And I felt bad.
What happened to all this? No, I want to play fair by the rules. I don't want flag on the play NFL.
He kind of. He's still getting used to it. He's still a bit handsy around the facial area, Enoch. He just keep the belts to...
It was a contested ball. It wasn't I wasn't trying to prevent him from doing anything. It was just
wanted to make sure he didn't come near you. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So look, good on current form, I'll go Enoch on it.
Okay, sounds good. Yep. Shane, anyone to add to the list of the tough nuts?
Not really. I want to say Enoch and Fergal, yeah. Everybody else is quite nice.
Enoch, would you like to pick your own versions?
Like who goes the hardest, or what do you mean by that?
So every kind of Gaelic football or hurling team in Ireland traditionally would have at least one person, and it's usually on the men's team and the women's team. I've noticed certainly the women's games have been at. They always have one who you just think they're going to hit someone or get sent off or start a row or just kill somebody.
I mean, I'm the guy who's trying to hit somebody, but I'm not trying to fight anybody. I just want to put a hit on you in the game,
Okay.
But I don't think there's anybody in the club that really is trying to start a fight. But
Foley
Murphy
would go in hard enough, I suppose, too, Stephen.
Yeah, Foley's a dog, yeah. But if there was anybody to get into a fight that maybe was instigated by the other team, it would probably be Fergal Murphy.
Okay. Yeah. Fergal's coming out of this really well by the sounds of it. And Aoibheann, what about on the ladies' side?
Oh God, the ladies' side.
Too many to name, is it?
We have a few tough women now. I don't think any of them go out to fight now, but there's a few I wouldn't like to go up against.
Just the hard hitter.
I wouldn't like to go up against Mary now.
If it's the same Mary line of me, I probably wouldn't either, to be honest.
So I wouldn't like to go up against Mary now.
Okay.
I can't think of anyone else really. Her friend Laura is really strong as well. Just a few girls now on the team that would be strong.
Good.
Yeah.
Mary line number 1. I'd like to know that. And Aoibheann, I'm going to stick with you for this one to start this one, since you're the social side. So what's the club song of karaoke?
Oh God, a karaoke song. Are you going to give me a hand here, lads? Don't leave me. What's our karaoke song?
You don't have to sing it, don't worry.
What is that Westlife song that
oh yes, Westlife, brilliant. We're on the right track.
I don't know Westlife, but I know it's a Westlife song that when we had that yacht party, the boat went completely nuts for that
World
song.
of Our Own. It has to be World of Our Own.
What was it, I think it could have been, yeah. I think it was.
How does that one go, Jason?
We got a little word of our own. That's all I remember. That's the best you're going to get out of me in several different ways. That was I'll be editing that part out anyway. Okay, so World of Our Own by Westlife. Yeah. Do the lads have a different one, or are you sticking with Westlife as well?
You have to remember that we're like, we had a bit of a disaster year last year because we had COVID and the girls' club just got set up. So we're still in a bit of a phase, everyone kind of getting to know each other. So we've had kind of one big club run out yet. So we're yet to have like an away trip or a bus trip. So I think this year now, when we're going to Aoibheann or like Barrying, I think the ladies won't be traveling to that. So I think when we get a bus trip, which will be Aoibheann in Feb, I think it is, that's when we'll get the singing voices.
And I'll be on to you after that, so to find out what the song was. Yeah.
We have a few singers. I fancy myself for a song or two.
Kerry ME, you don't fancy yourself?
Sean Corbett fancies himself. He's in a band, one of the last year's chairman. Okay. He's a drummer in a band, but he sings a couple of tunes as well. And you know, a few guys fancy themselves.
Okay, like the sound of that. So yeah, Shane, are you in the Marty Morrissey fan club or the Des Cahill fan club?
Marty M&M. Marty Morrissey, definitely.
The Marty Party, good, yep. Aoibheann, what about you?
I'd be a Marty woman as well, yeah.
Marty, fair enough, yep. Jamie?
Des, because he played for Dr. Crokes. He worked for the Kerry man for a couple of years. He played for
Interesting, okay.
And he's a cooler man, isn't he? So my name plays for cooler, so I'll go with that. I'll go with Des.
Okay, sounds good. Enoch, are you familiar with Marty Morrissey and Des Cahill?
I'm going to have to abstain.
Yep, that's fine. That's okay. You won't be the first, and you won't be the last either. So that's fine. Yeah. If you guys could bring, maybe I'll start with the ladies. If you could bring the ladies to Ireland, which club or county would you most like a shot against?
Westmeath.
We will kick the shit out of you in the ladies' side. We are the intermediate champions of Ireland.
Maybe I'll rethink that one. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd say, we'll go with Westmeath. Let's stick with that one.
Good, yeah. Mary Lynham has to transfer to Westmeath, though, if Mary Lynham I'm thinking of. Then, and what about for the men then, Shane? Who would you like a shot against, do you think?
Definitely Donegal, I suppose. Have to say Donegal.
Would you be at their standard? You would?
Not at all.
No.
No.
You never know on the day.
Enoch and Mike Murphy.
Yeah, that's a battle I want to see.
Yeah, great match.
That'd be a good matchup.
Yeah. Enoch, Mark, and Michael Murphy. That is the battle I think the GAA world needs to see. Yeah, we need to make that happen.
Enoch's Googling now. He's Googling.
Yeah, he's Googling Michael Murphy. Yeah.
Michael Murphy is.
He is Enoch, one of the great forwards of the last generation, definitely. And it was one of the great sights. I was at the Mayo Donegal game when he scored a phenomenal goal. I've seen him a few times, club and county, and he's you'd have a good battle against them. Put it that way. I reckon you'd come out on top though somehow. I know Shane will disagree, but I reckon you'd.
Yeah, no, I'd say Enoch can take him, no problem.
Take him. Okay, good. Yep.
Googling him now.
Yep, googling him now. Yeah. Jamie, have anyone you'd want a shot against?
Cork, Porky Munster final in enemy territory, come in with a winner last minute goal and straight back home down back to Kerry. Quick stop.
Sounds very familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, in the new stadium too.
Yeah.
Just to add in insult to injury. So.
Okay, sounds good. Take that one. What have we got here? Are you more of a short pass or drive it long team, Shane? What do you think?
I think we should have been more short pass last week instead. Busy driving it long. So I think we're gonna have to go back to the short pass game, I think.
Okay. You haven't gone full Jim Gavin in possession football for the whole game, no?
Well, there's a lot of giving out done last week about not doing enough short passing, like. But
okay.
I think that's
we're trying to play a purist kind of kicking game, but it's not working out, to be honest. We're gonna have to adjust.
Okay, yeah, so we get there eventually. So, Aoibheann, one of the famous four you can choose from: hats, flags, scarves, or headbands.
Headbands.
Headband, okay. I thought all the Middle East would just go for the hat to keep the sun out, but Jamie, what about you?
Probably, I always went for a headband, but I kind of tie it around the arm.
Oh yeah, true Kerry man, yeah. Shane, what about you?
Yeah, I like a flag.
Oh, okay, that's three. Enoch, would you prefer a hat, a flag, a scarf, or a headband? This could be for the GAA or could be at an NFL game, whichever you want.
Oh, to wear to a game as a fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go flag. Yeah,
Flag.
You got to drape the flag around the shoulders. That's the way to go.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. As long as you're not one of those annoying people who brings it to Croke Park to wave in front of you when the play is going on, which is a hateful thing. Jamie, have you introduced Father Ted to the Kerry Middle East GAA club?
I think we all kind of grew up in it, so
Lovely.
We'd be, there'd be a few Father Ted jokes. We need to maybe. A lot of the crew is getting a bit younger, so us elder statesmen like Shane, myself, we need to introduce Enoch. Aoibheann's younger than us, so I'm sure she knows Father Ted. But maybe we'll have a Ted Fest Dubai 2022.
I'll be there.
The next one,
Ring me. It's my mastermind topic of choice. Ring me. I'll come out. I'll do something definitely. Enoch, have you been introduced to Father Ted? Do you know much about it?
No, I have no clue.
Okay, so Shane and Aoibheann and Jamie, that's your homework then, is to 23 episodes, Enoch, to watch through. You'll have no problem getting through them. Best thing you'll ever do in the next 10 years of your life is to watch that. So
actually showed a Syrian, a friend of mine from Syria. I got him watching it, and he absolutely loves it. Loves it.
That's from Syria. Wow.
Syrian lad, yeah, a guy I work with.
Brilliant, and he
I
took to it today.
Get the humor, but he thinks it's brilliant.
That's class. I love that. That's definitely a unique one. Anyway, Enoch, you've got 2 tickets. Are you going to the NFL final, the Super Bowl, or are you going to the All Ireland final in Croke Park?
Oh, definitely All Ireland. Super Bowl.
He knows his audience. He knows his audience.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he knows the audience well. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the Super Bowl nowadays, it's so much other stuff than the game.
Halftime show.
The halftime show, all the commercial breaks. You fall asleep before you get to the end of the game. So yeah, it seems like the GAA is more pure. It's just a game.
Nice. Who is your NFL team of choice?
It would be the Dallas Cowboys, just because proximity. Yeah, I'm from outside Dallas, so I grew up in the '90s when we were so-called America's team. We had like 3 championships in 4 years, but it's been a downhill slide ever since. So not much to cheer about these days.
Okay, sounds good. I know them from the '90s as well. Yeah, my friends are big into it here. I haven't really taken to it quite yet. So. My best mate's like a Seahawks fan. My cousin is a Packers fan. I decided to follow the Broncos because Denver was the first stadium I ever saw in America. So nice. They seemed pretty shitty last season. I don't really know what they're doing this season, and probably not going to follow them anyway. So They just had a nice color kit as well, which I kind of liked. So
yeah, but you gotta find a connection to the team. You can't just pick whoever's doing good. Like the people here.
Well, I picked them when they were
follow
doing shit,
football.
so I'm a true fan.
Yeah, that's good.
They were terrible. Yeah, they don't seem to be much better. Jamie, putting you on the spot, putting the four of you on the spot here a little bit, but and Enoch, you can say not sure for this one either if you want, but Jamie, your favorite GA player of all time in your lifetime?
Seamus Moynihan.
Seamus Moynihan, nice.
Probably my favorite player. Yeah,
You'd
growing
agree.
up, I think. You know, he was on the 1997 team when Kerry won the All Ireland the first time after 11 years. Half back, I played half back as well when I was younger, and he went to the same school as me too. So he trained us a few times, and I watched him a lot when I was younger. And our club was just across the road from Fitzroy Stadium, where Kerry trained.
Nice.
So like you could see him training too, and everything he did, like he kind of had a bit of a persona about him that he was an unreal trainer, and you know what a personality. Then every time he played for Kerry, he was phenomenal, Mr. Dependable. And when Kerry had that problem with full back, he went in and solved it for them too. So I think of the kind of era, he's probably one of the great kind of modern players for Kerry. Really, Seamus Moynihan. Yeah.
Seamus Moynihan, love it. Shane, who's your favorite player of all time?
Hard to know. I'd probably be shocked if I don't say somebody from Donegal town, because you have the likes of Carl Lacey, Paul Durkin. Like Paul Durkin would be my neighbour back home as well.
Oh, very
Paul
good.
Durkin, Joyce McMullen as well. He just lives down the road as well. Can't really choose between any of them, really.
Any good Donegal player
but,
from Donegal town?
Yeah, any one of those, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Aoibheann, have you a favorite player of all time?
I probably have to say Sean Lowry. He's actually an uncle of Shane's, but in the school I worked in Offaly, he was the chairman on the board. So he did loads for the underage teams and loads for the schools teams all the way up. So I have to say, yeah, he's probably who's great influence on the kids, one of the best players as well. So definitely be one of my favourites anyway.
Okay, brilliant. And Enoch, any GA player for you?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I can name a single player off the top of my head, but I'll have to
say Fergal Murphy if you want.
Fergal Murphy, yeah.
Whoever's playing fullback for the Kerry All-County team at the time, that'll be my favorite.
You've got a long list to choose from. So yeah, what's it? Jason Foley at the moment, isn't it? Jamie, is it your fullback? Yeah. So Jason Foley's your man at the moment. So Jason Foley's Deb's date is the chairperson of Saigon Gales in Vietnam. There's a fun fact for you now, as I found out recently. So another team outside of Ireland with a bit of a link to Kerry. She's I can't remember whereabouts in Kerry she's from. I've forgotten now. So and then the few Middle East teamed ones. Aoibheann, you can choose between the Jumeirah Hotel or going backpacking. Where are you going?
Backpacking, I think.
Backpacking, okay.
Yeah.
Shane, where are you going?
Probably go backpacking with Aoibheann for a bit of crack.
Good stuff.
We'd
Jamie,
never make it back, Shane.
Yeah, I know, I was going to say, yeah, there's definitely no way you're coming back. But you're not coming back with the bag anyway. You might come back with no bag with you. So. And Jamie, whereabouts are you going then?
I can't slum it anymore. Honestly, I need the luxury. So all day long, Jumeirah, probably Burj Al Arab. That's a Jumeirah property too. So or Jumeirah Zabil Sarai on the Pan. That's probably
okay. You're not coming backpacking with us, Jamie.
I would in my 20s, but I can't do it anymore. Honest to God. And I kind of work in hotels, so I need to patronise them.
Oh, nice. Are you the man to give a shout to then if I need to go back out to Dubai for a hotel? Is it?
My wife, she works for Marriott, so she'll get you a nice special.
Lovely. I'll remember that. Yes, perfect. I stayed in the Palm Atlantis the last time, but it was because it was the height of the summer and they only charge us 90 quid to stay there, so it was grand. So I got the all-inclusive floor as well, which is even funnier. So
how long ago was that you were here?
The last time I was there, I've been there a few times. I can't remember. The last time was maybe 2017, I think.
Oh,
yeah. First time I think was 2013, 2014, 2016, 17. Yeah, I've been there a few times. But yeah, it was there was no tourists around. The only other couple on the all-inclusive floor were from Meath, ironically, which was just so funny. So there was nobody else there on that floor apart from us. So the whole run of the place, which was cool. So, and Enoch, are you going backpacking with Aoibheann and Shane, or are you going Full 5-star.
Yeah. Backpacking for sure. Somewhere in Africa.
Nice. Okay. You've made the decision where you're going as well, which is great. Would you
Haven't
prefer?
consulted with us.
I know. Yeah, I was going to say you're going anyway, regardless. So, Shane, would you prefer a camel ride in the desert, or would you prefer the McGinley bus back up to Donegal?
Oh, McGinley all the way, I think. I've done enough camel rides in the desert to last me a lifetime.
Okay.
Anytime somebody comes out here, that's what they always say, and I always dread when they say that the desert safari. What's that desert safari like? I'm like, oh, it's not again. Like,
How about when you brought all your aunties out there? Was that last year, Shane? You brought all your aunties and all that out there.
mum, auntie, my mum, my auntie, and their mates. I was
Right,
brilliant.
that's
like,
another
great,
one. That's
brilliant.
another one. That's another thumbnail for the.
Yeah.
For this. You have to see these pictures on Shane's Instagram.
Sounds good. Yeah.
He was a great tour guide.
Okay. Tour guide. So I'll put you down for that job as well. Jamie, you go on a camel ride or the bus down to Kerry? It's like Sophie's choice here in the corner.
I'm more of a train man. Change it.
Okay.
Now.
You can get the train then.
You can't
Give
slum
me
it
the
on
train.
the
Give me the
bus.
train down. Give me the train down. I'm a good man for the
Okay,
train.
okay. Enoch, you a camel ride in the desert or going across Route 66?
Oh yeah, Route 66 for sure. I've never got to do that actually, so that's still on my bucket list. You know,
Sounds good. Yeah.
camels are overrated, man. They're mean.
Love it. And Aoibheann, you going camel ride or are you getting what's the bus that goes to Clara? I can't remember. We got the bus Air and bus to Clara.
I'll be on the bus there and bus to Clara now, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah, camels are getting a bad rep in the Middle East clubs, by the sounds of it. The last couple then, Shane, the Dubai Mall or the Blanche Shopping Centre?
Oh, Dubai Mall, definitely.
Nice.
Definitely.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's a nice spot as well. Jamie, you going Blanche Shopping or Dubai Mall or Mahon Point Shopping Centre?
I like the Zara and Mahon Point, so I'll go.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, very good choice. Yeah, my uncle lives right beside it as well. There's a few nice shops in there, right? Enoch, are you going the Dubai Mall or you probably wouldn't be too familiar with Blanchardstown Shopping Centre, I'd say. So what's the main shopping centre in Dallas?
I would take any shopping center in Ireland over Dubai Mall because one, I haven't been to Ireland, and two, Dubai Mall is just too freaking big.
Okay.
You got to walk a country mile to get anywhere. So I'd take a small Irish shopping center any day.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, and so Aoibheann, are you going Dubai or Clara Markets? Clara Markets, of course, very famous.
Well, of course, Clara Markets. Sure, I couldn't say anything else.
Yep, the only
I'd be disowned.
Dubai Mall don't sell stolen hand drills for 20 quid, do they?
No, they don't. Not that I know of, anyway. Maybe it's a niche in the market, Jason.
Could be, yeah, could be. Would you prefer Blanche Shopping Centre or Dubai Mall? Then which would you pick?
I think I'm gonna have to go with Enoch there and go with Blanche. The size of Dubai Mall now, I get lost every time I go there. So
okay, fair enough. I'll take that.
Yeah.
And the last one then, which is always an interesting one, and it's people here often chat about it when people come back home from Dubai in the Middle East, especially the teachers who come home. Do you prefer, Jamie, the Friday Saturday weekend or the Saturday Sunday weekend?
I'm getting into even though I call the days wrong when I'm over here, I always on Saturday, I always call it Sunday by mistake. But I'm happy with the Friday, Saturday. I'll keep it, yeah.
Okay.
Even when I work from home for a few weeks, and I enjoy being off on the Friday.
So the days just blur into one for you then. So
yeah, and Sunday can be a bit of a waste at home too. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Enoch, what about you?
Yeah, I'm good with the Friday, Saturday. I used to live in Saudi Arabia where we had Thursday, Friday, and that was just ridiculous because it was way off from everyone else in other countries. So it made business or any kind of anything more difficult. So Friday, Saturday is good for me. Yeah.
That's my fact of the day I've learned. I did not know that was a weekend in Saudi Arabia. It's I think the only Middle East country I've not been to. I didn't know a lot about it. That's why Thursday, Friday? Is it a religious thing?
Yeah, the Sabbath should be on the Friday, the seventh day or whatever.
It used to be like that here back.
Changed, yeah.
All right.
Way back. Yeah, it used to be Thursday and Friday used to be the weekend here too.
All right.
And they changed it then to the Friday and Saturday. There's talk of changing it again to Saturday and Sunday.
To Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah, there's talk about changing the weekends here again.
Yeah. Okay.
You can watch Newcastle and Newcastle United and Man City on the Super Sunday.
You mean Saudi Arabia versus Dubai? the new derby game. Abu Dhabi even, yeah. Shane, which weekend do you prefer then?
I suppose I'm used to it now. I work Saturdays anyway, so it doesn't really make much of a difference to me because I'm working 5.5 days a week, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
So I would take any weekend.
And any extra day will do, yeah. Grant. And Aoibheann, what about you then?
Yeah, I think I'm used to it now. The grass is always greener, isn't it? So you always want what you don't have. So Friday, Saturday is fine.
Fair enough.
Always, yeah.
And what then, Jamie, before I let you go, what's the future like for Kerry Middle East GAA?
I think we've had a good the first 2 years. This is our fourth season, I'd say, our fourth year. The first 2 years, we had the men's teams. We got the double promotion, so now we're up to Inter. Last year was a bit of a lost year, let's say, with COVID, but that's the same for everybody else. However, the ladies' team was set up, and that was a positive for last year. I don't think many other clubs had kind of a positive really during the COVID situation. So this year, I think it's a big year. Our men are intermediate. We're a one-off senior for a small club. I think that's a good place to be. Ideally, I think on the men's side, it'd be great to have a men's team in senior, have a men's team in inter, a men's team in junior, and social. That's an ideal place to be, and I don't see why we can't be that in a few years' time. And the same with the ladies, to have teams right across the divisions like the other clubs have. But having said that, we don't want to lose our identity. We are a small club. We are a bit more of a niche club. But I think anyone that does come in and play with us, they enjoy it. They get to know everyone. We keep training to one night a week. That's part of our kind of USP. Other larger clubs are training maybe 3 days a week. We put a lot of focus into that one night a week, make sure everyone turns up on the one night instead of spreading it over different nights. We have as many friendly matches as possible at weekends then over the period. So we're ready for the challenges of the leagues when they come about. So I think we don't want to lose that identity if the club grows, that we can keep it relatively small, keep it to a level that everyone gets to know each other. It's very, very inclusive, keep growing our kind of, let's say, our international players like Enoch. I think this year we haven't been able to attract many more international players. So I think that's a focus for us too. And hopefully, we progress, but we don't lose our identity along the way. And that we keep the good spirit that we have. So that's how I think we see the next few years going, please God.
Do you see a place in the future for teams from outside of Ireland to come and compete in like the junior club championship at some stage in Ireland?
For the Middle East, I think over here, like the season is very short. So again, the way it is at the moment to play over here, it's not like New York or America or whatever, where you need to get a transfer. So you can play over here during the winter, which is a nice thing to have. This is different, especially when, let's say, a lot of people are teaching out here and they're home for a bit longer period during the summer. They can still play for their own club at home now. And I suppose the second part is we're all playing still on 9-a-side pitches. We're not playing on 15-a-side. So there probably would have to be a big structural change for that to happen. It probably is a long way off. I think the World Games coming in is a great way of integrating all the different, international teams and having them in one place. And the Middle East have been very successful. And I think obviously it's only been held a couple of times, and Middle East has competed and won across various different grades on those and over those periods. So I think I would push towards the international games. Hopefully they can grow and come back after COVID.
2023 they're back again. So
is that right? Yeah. So hopefully they come back, and they were looking to put in like an international non-Irish born players too. So that gives an outlet to guys like Enoch and across other teams as well. And say our ladies team as well. There's a lot of British girls playing in that. So I think, there's a lot of merit in the global games, and I hope that continues to grow, and hopefully have some Kerry representatives playing next time. Brilliant. As well on it, please God.
Not too many Kerry though, of course, yeah. And Aoibheann, is Mary Lynham leading the club in the right direction then on the ladies' side?
Yeah, Mary's playing a blinder. She's doing a great job. She's the secretary, obviously, on the committee, and she does an awful lot of work behind the scenes as well. And she keeps morale high and keeps us all at training. And the days we don't want to go, she's great at encouraging us all to get down there herself. And Liz is the ladies' captain. They keep us all motivated, and We get all the inspirational messages and the encouragement in the WhatsApp group. So that's what's getting girls to go down every week. So yeah, there's a few girls there that are doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So they definitely deserve plenty of credit.
Savage. So it's onwards and upwards for the club by the sounds of it. Is there anyone, Shane, you want to give a shout out to before I let you go?
For our guys, I suppose the rest of our committee, I suppose, like the likes of Gus and Liz and the rest of them. So just got to know they're doing a good job.
And all the Donegal people, I suppose.
And
I have to give Will a shout out as well. He's taken on the training of the women. He has his hands full, as you can imagine.
The Galway man, is it?
He's the Galway man, yeah. So he's training the ladies and he's playing with the lads. So
God bless him.
A busy Wednesday evening, yeah. So he listens to us for an hour and then he's a headache and then he goes and listens to the lads. So he has his hands full as well. So I have to give Will a shout out for that.
Enoch, anyone back in Texas you want to say hello to?
Maybe a shout out to the Dallas GAA club, I guess. Well, if there's a Dallas club, I might be going back to Dallas over Christmas, so maybe I'll have to shout out to those guys and see if I can get down for a session or two.
Yeah, Eddie Garrity is a Roscommon man from Ireland who is over the Dallas GAA group, and they've had some big names over, which I discovered in the podcast. Some of Ireland's like greatest ever footballers have all gone out to Dallas, and when I put up the episode a couple of weeks ago, a lot of them got back to me and said, I have such amazing memories from the trips out to Dallas. Like one of them is, I suppose Shane and Aoibheann and Jamie might know, but Bernard Flynn was one of the great footballers of all time, a Meath footballer. He's my neighbour here. And he was one of the ones who went out, and he said the memories from Dallas are, they last a lifetime. So you're definitely going back to a good club by the sounds of it. Maybe not as good as Kerry Middle East GAA, but still a decent club. Yeah, they mightn't be as good as you guys, but they're still decent anyway. The last thing I have to ask Jamie, actually, there's a lot of jersey collectors around Ireland, around the world, and O'Neill's apparently have had a mass of messages since I started doing this jersey competition on the Instagram page, I found out. So where can people go to locate the Kerry Middle East GAA jersey?
Yeah, the Middle East Kerry jersey is on the O'Neill's website. If you go in there and you filter Middle East, we'll come up. We're using the back to goal jerseys still, the ones Paul Gallivan designed a couple of years back. Mm-hmm. We are the committee, which I wasn't part of last year, and they elected to stick with that, not to go with the newer jerseys they're wearing at the moment. Mm-hmm. But we're hopeful. I think that Kerry will release a new jersey at Christmas, and we will align with the new Kerry jersey that comes out. It's more than likely, I think they will release one. And on that chat, we've had our new gear catalogue out as well. So I think there should be new things added on the O'Neill store as well, like tops, leisure shorts, and bits and pieces. We're also supporting Paul Gallivan's new range Keohan collection. I don't know if you've seen any of those bits and pieces. We've added that to our catalogue too. We can order them directly from Paul Gallivan's website and on the Keohan Athletic website, which there's some really nice new stuff there. So we're supporting that too. And our orders actually have just gone in from our own club members a few days ago. So shout out to Alan Denny, who's organising the club equipment this year. He's put in a huge amount of work. I think he's got, over 100 orders anyway over the weekend. He was busy collecting them because we want to get all the gear. We want to get all the gear in back to the club members before Christmas, before they go home, because a lot of people buy Christmas presents for people as well back home. Yeah. And then if people don't miss out on anything, or people are abroad, if they're not going to order through club members, they've missed the boat, but they can order still online through the O'Neill's website and through Keohan Athletic as well for those other bits and pieces. Another thing you mentioned, a dream we had for the club, and you mentioned it there about Dallas and whatnot. A couple of years ago at the AGM, we talked about a club trip and where would we like to go, and there was talks about maybe go to Sri Lanka for a weekend or whatever. But we had a bit of a goal that one day we might go to New York and play in Gaelic Park and play the Kerry team over there.
That'd be class.
Maybe some Easter if we ever get a chance. And Enoch's brother is in New York as well, and I think he's he designs suits, doesn't he, Enoch? So maybe he'll get us a couple of club suits for the men's and ladies. And we get to play in Gaelic Park against, you know, a couple of teams. That would be a dream for the club if we could do that in a couple of years. Or who knows, some Easter holiday coming up. We'd love to go. Emirates fly direct. Shane is a goal member for Emirates, so he might sponsor our plane tickets.
Nice. If you need a pick up a commentator on the way.
Yeah, maybe our 10-year anniversary in a few more years. I might go.
Yeah, you can pick me up in Dublin on the way. I'll be there. So especially if you're flying on a nice Emirates plane as well, I'll definitely go.
We'll get you a media pass. You can sit up the front.
Yeah, can you get me an outdoor microphone as well? Because I don't have one of them. I need one of them as well. That's class. I know. I hope that comes true. It sounds like
that's a dream. Yeah.
Yeah, something that definitely could work. And guys,
a pipe dream.
Pipe dreams come true as well. I wouldn't rule out for sure. So, lads, thanks so much for giving up your time this evening, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And Shane, I'll let you go to bed after your trip to Baku. Yeah, and I hope you had the crack out there. You've seen history in Irish football. You're the first man to witness a Stephen Kenny victory. So good time to be there. And Aoibheann, the best of luck on the ladies' side, and Enoch, best of luck breaking more noses.
Thanks, Jason.
And Jamie, thanks so much for everything. And Shane, I think it was you that organised it on the Instagram. So thank you very much for all your help as well. And
no worries. It's been a pleasure, mate.
Yeah, don't know exactly when this is going out just yet. You possibly might be the first one after Christmas. The reason I'm doing all the recordings now is myself and my wife are expecting a baby in March. So
congratulations, Jason.
We only found out a few weeks ago, so that's why I'm kind of doing all the recordings now so I can set them to stream, because in a few months' time I won't have the chance to do this again. So there's a little bit of a wait, which I do apologize for, but you definitely will be there, and I'll do all the promoting for your jersey and stuff before Christmas as well. So hopefully you might get a few sales out of that too. And I'll keep in touch in the meantime, and enjoy Dubai. I'm not jealous at all as I look out at the piss and rain outside. So yeah, look, thanks so much, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take it easy.
Thanks, Jason. Take care.
Good luck.
Bye.
Slán.
Bye.
Coming up the next day on the Loaf of Bread GAA Global, we cut into our next slice.
One thing that's a trick we missed out on during the rugby, the amount of people, mostly were pretty pissed off, but the amount of young people that come up to us and was looking to buy jerseys was ridiculous. Yeah. We should have had a little bash just sitting in the Irish pubs here, ready to go. I think I actually drunkenly sold my jersey for, was it 1,000 yen, which is, I think I was pretty drunk and realised was the equivalent of about €6-7.
Yeah.
So the cost at least, I think, was it €35? But in my head, I thought it was a great deal, and then woke up the next day, couldn't find my shirt until someone had told me that I sold it to, can't even remember where the guy was from. He was just didn't even fit in. This guy was massive, like it.
Your name's on the back.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Your name's on it, brilliant.
Yeah.
We'll have to put out a call to the person who bought Chris's jersey. So if you've got it, can you please let us know that you have it and you got the steal of the century from it. So on Slice 48 next Thursday, I chat to Sligo native Niamh and Derry man Chris to find out all about Japan GAA in their 25th anniversary. We chat about experiences with Hong Kong GAA, playing Singapore and the AGG tournaments, the Japanese all-you-can-drink, locals taking on the skills of the GAA world, Japan GAA in Croke Park in 2017, a Fair Play Award for a fair player, the beautiful Japanese GAA jersey, and of course some other things like Mick Constantine's Japan GAA song, earthquakes, and how did the girls fare when going to climb Mount Fuji. This and much more as we continue the journey with 2 slices a week. I'll see you at the Arrivals Hall, but until then, check out the various clubs on the Instagram page and see all the amazing work they do and some of the nicest GAA gear going. Find the podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on TikTok. Email loafofbreadpod@gmail.com, or just simply hit the follow button and spread the word of the Loaf of Bread GAA pod across the globe. Slán.